You're watching the Hardhead Garage.
This is our new project vehicle, 1967 Plymouth Fury.
We haven't picked a name for it yet, so if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Yeah!
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. As y'all seen, this is our new project vehicle, 1967 Plymouth Fury III. We picked this thing up on a deal off of Marketplace. I was doing my usual morning routine, drinking a cup of coffee and scrolling through Marketplace. Speaking of coffee, if you partake in the nectar of gods, head over to our merch shop and get you a cool coffee mug. But anyways, like I was saying, we were scrolling through Marketplace and this thing popped up. Hadn't been posted but 5 minutes on there. It was one of those deals where you had to jump up and go get it right then and there. You couldn't ask the guy 100,000 questions. We just rode by the bank, picked the money up, and brought this whole thing home. We don't have the project name for it yet, so if y'all got any ideas, drop them down there in the comments below. Old car's pretty solid old car. Seems to be mostly original, besides it's definitely been repainted and the seats have been recovered. But for the most part, it seems to be all original. It has all the trim, every piece of trim on this car, which is unusual because it does have a little body work, little Bondo body filler right here. I crawled in the back of the trunk. It looked like maybe somebody has replaced his quarter panel at one time, but they seem to have done an okay job at it. It's starting to bubble up a little bit right here, but we'll handle that when we get to it. Being a Fury 3, of course, you know it's a 383 Commando, so we looked up there. Pretty solid. Like I said, it's got a little magnet holds tight to most of this. It's a little pinhole rust right here busting out of the bottom. But ain't nothing we can't patch. I wasn't looking for nothing perfect because then we'd be afraid to drive it and enjoy it. Come on those decent looking bullet hole wheels. Probably polish them up. Grill's in good condition. The front bumper's got had a little bang up right there, but at least the grill's intact. We got a little ding in the hood trim there. Let's pop the old hood on it here and give you a look at this motor. Like I said, 383. And the crazy thing about this, the guy said he hadn't drove it in like 10 years, which the last tag I think was 90 something, 92, 96 on the tag. It had a dead battery, but he had jumped it off before I got there, so when I come back to pick the car up, I took a hot battery with me. And this thing is set overnight, and I kid you not, I just moved it down here in the driveway. Did not even hit the gas one time. Just bumped the key and it lit right off. Door shut tight on it, good. And this is how we bought it, y'all. I mean, we hadn't turned a wrench on this thing. We haven't done anything to it. We got all the parts to do a tune-up for it, of course, but we wanted to give y'all a look at, I wouldn't call it a barn find, it was more of a farm find. It was sitting out in a farm field. I'm surprised it's running as good as it is with these crappy plug wires on it laying on the manifold. plug wires laying right there on that manifold. If you wonder, it had to burn in too. I'd say we got a pretty solid base for a new project here. Got the old dual loud pipes coming out the back. 93 was the last time this thing was on the road. What do y'all think about our new project here? Did we score or not? Doors shut nice and tight on it. Of course, the interior, the headliner's falling down. All the plastic is dry rotted in it. The seats might come back around. We'll put a little leather treatment on them and see what we can make happen there. Vacuum out the carpet. I don't know how hard this dash pad will be to find. Might just lay a towel over that for the time being. Cool thing about this old ride, everything on it works besides the four-ways, the hazard lights, which I think that's related to the flasher relay down there, because the turn signals outside work. All the lights work on it, high beams, low beams, even the fan motor still works for the heater. We're missing a radio, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Overall, I don't think we did too bad, y'all. It'll be a fun weekend cruiser for the family. Hit the cruise ins this summer. We hadn't run the fender tag yet to figure out all the good information about it. I'm leaning towards the car was original blue. That's just judging by the paint I see in the door jambs and the blue carpet and blue headliner. At one time somebody did paint it like a burgundy color, but since then it's been primered down. Right around the rear deck lid, and a lot of times they rust out here. Pretty solid there. The magnet sticks to this whole car. Even where there is Bondo, it's not really thick. Let me grab a screwdriver to the trunk lock is missing on it, so let me grab a screwdriver and we'll pop open the old hatch here. Alright, we got the old trunk popped up in here, the old body carrier. As you can see, these old Mopars were bad about rusting out in the trunk, but this one seems to be okay so far. Might have a little rust starting right there. At one time somebody had put some trunk paint or trunk liner in here to kind of preserve it. That might have helped it pretty good. Let me see if I can turn your light on. You might be able to see where I think that they may have put a quarter panel on this rear. Turn this light up here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Right there, it seems like it's a seam weld right there, where they possibly have done some quarter panel work back here. But that's okay. For what we got invested in it, I don't think we went wrong. There's some evidence of blue paint, like I was saying earlier, blue or black. We'll run the fender tag on it later and see. Somebody had one time had really taken care of this thing. They went to the trouble to, when they painted it, to paint the deck lid underneath and all the door jambs, and either preserve the trim or somebody spent the money to go back and buy all the trim, which is the thing I'm digging the most about the car. I mean, normally the trim don't really bother me, but it's unusual to find one this year model with every piece of trim on it. The door shut tight, and the door shut better. We gotta grease that latch, but the doors shut better than they do on them trucks. Grease that button up a little bit. like I said, it's a pretty neat little project we got here. I know these are probably like a unicorn, trying to find these, but if anybody's got a factory steering wheel for this thing, it's missing the half moons with a horn there. And I would also like to find a driver's side door panel that's in better shape than ours. Let me pop this open. I don't really want anything perfect, but I feel like somebody might have something out there a little better than what we're working with. The trim level really doesn't matter to me. I mean, it'd be nice to have a Fury 3 one, but this one's just seen better days. The passenger side's not really that bad, being that this is the driver's side. I'd like to see if we can find a little something better for that. Not too shabby, I don't think. I'm pretty excited about it. I've always loved these old C bodies, and really any Mopar, but the bigger cars, the C bodies, and they just always had a special place in my heart. I can remember my daddy and grandpa having these old things back in the day. Can't remember, my dad had one. I think it was a 65, or it may have been a Belvedere. I'm not even sure, but I remember slamming my fingers in the door of that thing, and that's just a vivid memory I have. Walked around with black and blue fingers for about 2 weeks. But this will be a new series in the channel, so we'll make a playlist for this vehicle. Like I said, we still don't have a project name yet, so if y'all have any suggestions or good ideas, drop them in the comments. We may do a voting poll. Maybe put the best 4, the top 4 we think, on a voting poll and do it that way. We'll see what y'all think. I have a few in mind. And if you're a fan of Stephen King movies or John Carpenter movies, Stephen King books, it's not Christine, but it's close. If you're a fan of the movie Christine, I have a few names picked off out of that movie that I would consider naming this project, but we're not locked into nothing definite yet. That's gonna do it for this video, y'all. Y'all stay tuned for more updates on this project.